So we'll just finish this video here. Find the equations of the circles with radius 2. So the minute I know the radius, I'm thinking of my formula for radius, g squared plus f squared minus c equals. So again, this is all our formulas from our log tables. So page, what page is it again? Page 19. Yeah, 19. So we're going to let that equals to 2. Now, again, it says find the equations, plural. That always implies quadratic is going to crop up somewhere here. Okay, so we'll get rid of our square root anyway. So you can either think of it as square both sides or move the square root to the other side, which is square. But either way, that's what it's going to be. So we'll start with that. Now, it says with center on the y-axis that passes through the point 0, 1. Now, center on the y-axis. So this is slightly different now. This isn't the same as the last video. The last video said that the circle touches the y-axis. This time, the center is on the y-axis. Now, if the center is on the y-axis, so think of your center minus g minus f. Now, if it's on the y-axis, so think of anything that's on the y-axis. So, for example, 0, 1, 0, 3, 0, whatever. It's always going to be 0 first. So that tells us that minus g is 0, which really means g is 0. So that's something we know for sure. Now, if g is 0, then that helps this as well, because now we know f squared minus c is equal to 4. So that's what we have so far. Now, it passes through the point 0, 1. So it passes through the point 0, 1. Now, if it passes through 0, 1, we go back to the general equation of the circle, like again, we've been doing in the last lesson. So that is your 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0. And we're filling in 0 there. We're filling in 1 there. And again, across the line, filling in the point. So this is all what we did in the last lesson. So that's 1, that's 0, that's 2f plus c equals 0. Okay. So that's right, isn't it? 0, 2f plus c. Yeah, perfect. So we know that g is 0. So that's the first thing we know. Now, what are we left with then? So let's have a look. So we left with this sentence here and this sentence here. Now, because I said at the beginning, it looks like we're aiming towards a quadratic, would it make sense that I would rewrite this to get c on its own? And what I'll do then is I'll put that in here. Now, how would you think of doing that yourself if I wasn't, telling you to do that? Well, again, you go back to those hints. It has to be a quadratic, and I can only use a quadratic if it has all the same letters. The g is already out of the picture, so that leaves the f squared and the c. Now, obviously, it's far easier to replace, to rearrange in terms of c than to be trying to get f on its own. Or what you could do is use the second one and get f on its own and then replace that into the above one. So you can do it either of those two ways, but you need an equation that is all the same letter. So that's what we'll do. So we have 1 plus 2f. So instead of c, I have f squared minus 4 equals 0. So that is f squared plus 2f minus 3 equals 0. So null factor theorem or minus b. Now the minus means the signs are going to be different. So we're going to have 1 plus 1 minus, and I guess we're going to go with 3 and 1. So that means f is minus 3 and f is 1. So now that I know the f's, I can go back to find c. So we know that f squared minus 4 is equal to c. So if f is minus 3, that's going to be 9 minus 4. So c is 5 in that case. Over here then, if f is 1, we get 1 squared is 1, minus 4 equals c. So that's minus 3. So I now know what f is, and I know what c is. And of course, I knew from earlier that g was 0. So all in all, I have x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus z equals 0. So that's x squared plus y squared plus, so I'm going to go, g is 0. Now I'm going to go with this side first. So I'm going to go with my minus 2 times minus 3y, and I'm going to go with the 5. So just make sure you pair them up correctly. If I tidy that one up, that's going to be 0. That's going to be minus 6y plus 5. So that's one of the equations there. And then I do exactly the same for the other one. So this time around, I'm using the right-hand side. So remember, the g is still 0. The f in this case is 1. And the c is minus 3. So tidying that up, x squared plus y squared, now that's 0. So that's 2y minus 3 equals 0. Okay, and that's it, all done. So that's the end of the chapter on the circle. So we've it all done at that stage.